always loved cameras. I love gear, I love talking about them, I love looking them up on the internet and figuring out what kind of camera I should get or how my camera would look in the future. I love looking at other people's cameras. I love watching other people's videos about talking about gear, basically. That's what I want to do today. I want to talk about the camera that I use, mainly the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. So, the Blackmagic, it's a really weird camera to have. I mean, to be honest, with what I'm doing now with the creative agency that I have, the style of shooting that is usually done for social media and stuff, having a Blackmagic camera is kind of, for one, it's inconvenient, to be honest with you. But the story behind why I chose the Blackmagic it's actually because I wasn't supposed to be here. I was supposed to be in South Korea taking my master's degree in film and VFX to my professors in South Korea. Hi. I'm sorry, I'm not there. For my bachelor's, I took visual communications design, specifically in Petra Christian University, but I took the international one. I went to Korea for 2 years, so it's a double degree program. When I was in South Korea, the Department of Animation and Film and VFX are very close. We're actually in the same building. We're all in the same building. I got closer to the professors in Film and VFX, and at that point, I wanted to take master's right after I graduated my bachelor's degree in animation. My camera at the time was the Sony a6000, so it was a pretty old camera. Nothing wrong with that. I shot my videos, my films before I came back from Korea with that camera, and it's a really nice camera to have. When I was deciding to go to film school for my master's degree, I thought I should get a proper cinema camera. At the time, there was the FX3 that just came out. I don't remember any other camera. I do remember the Canon C70 or the R5C. That was also in my consideration, but I wanted to get either the FX30 or the FX3 or this camera. In Indonesia, I think, if I remember correctly, at the time, the pricing for the FX3 and this Blackmagic was technically the same. Okay, the biggest reason is I want it to be different. Honestly, don't use that as a reason to buy a camera, please. Like, decide on what you need. But anyways, yeah, that was one of the bigger reasons why I got the Blackmagic, because I kind of wanted to try something new, but also just wanted to be different anyways. Other than that, I think the codec, the B-RAW was kind of intriguing for me. I don't know anything about B-RAW. I don't know anything about RAW, so I was learning about it as I was searching about the camera. I also wanted to know like the difference between, basically the color, the actual frame. And I learned that, well, this camera packs a lot more power in that sense, but with that power comes a lot of other inconveniences, like the battery sucks. It really is bad. So if you see here I have a female, that's, yeah, the internal battery here, the NPF 550, is not good if you really want to shoot for long periods of time. Another reason why I wanted to take the Blackmagic was also the screen. It's a 5-inch screen. It's really bright. I think the Pro goes up to 1,500 nits if I'm not mistaken. I think the G2 is like around 500 nits. So 1,500 nits, that's quite bright. That's really bright for a screen, especially when you're working under the sun. So in the last few projects that I was in, I took the camera outside. We were under like 12 o'clock under the sun. It was blazing hot. I was still able to see the screen, so that was really nice to have. Yeah, so that's kind of the bigger story on why I got this camera. I'm just gonna show you my rig, and yeah, we'll see how it goes from there. Blackmagic. This is the camera that I use primarily on anything that I can, even as small as social media up to projects that I shot, like short films that I shot. Basically, it's a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. I have a tilted cage on it. When I got the tilted cage, I think I got the one in the middle because I remember there's a bracket that I could like extend this downward. So if I were to have the battery expansion for the camera, like the tilted cage can accommodate that too. It also came with the top handle. For the lens, again, it's a Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8. I have two other lenses that I can put on here. I'm focusing primarily on the Samyang 3 DSLR Mark 1s because they're kind of cheap to get for second hand. I have the 50mm and the 14mm. The 14mm is like a T3.1. I think the 50 is 1.5. Projects that I have that I received recently has been like documentary stuff. So I'm using the microphone that I have on this camera, which is a D3. Yeah, it's a DD mic. The first reason why I got the DD is because this camera has mini XLRs. DD has the adapter from 3.5 to like normal XLR. If I were to use that, I need to get a mini XLR to XLR adapter for this camera to that microphone. But this camera has two inputs. I mean, two channels, not two inputs. It has three inputs, but well, four, including the built-in microphone. But when you shoot, you have two channels, which you can sort of choose which channel receives what input. If I were to get the adapter for mini XLR to XLR, I could use two microphones. I could use the shotgun mic, and at the same time, I can also mic up the Talons with my Rode Go Wireless 2s. So yeah, that's the reason why I got that particular microphone. For media, for this camera, right now I'm using it's just an SD card. This is a Lexar 1667X. It's a 360 SD card. Typically with these cameras you need at least 390, so because it has a faster write speed. From what I read online, people who use this camera, they usually use the CFast 2.0s. But honestly, I'm not going to get CFast 2.0s because they're so expensive and I am not going to waste my money on that. I would rather get an SSD because this camera, through the USB-C, you can connect it to an external drive, like an external SSD. So this camera still works with a 330 card, but you can't shoot higher than 24 FPS if you're shooting B-RAW. That's another thing about this camera. You can shoot two types of formats. You can shoot B-RAW or ProRes. That's one of the things that I'm kind of glad that I got the Pocket Cinema, not the Cinema Camera 6K. It doesn't shoot ProRes, but for my needs, since I'm doing mostly social media, I don't need B-RAW to be honest, for Instagram and for my clients. So I just use ProRes, proxy. Sometimes I use even like 1080 files because it's just not worth it to shoot 4K. Since it's also downsampling from a 6K sensor, it's still fine. Yeah, the ports here, I think it's because I use the free mount all the time. I have this HDMI dongle permanently put on here, and I usually have the microphone on. The doors on the ports just came off, so I'm not shooting this in the rain anymore. ND filters, that's one thing that I love about this camera, is that it has internal ND, and that saved me a bunch of times. Especially the project that I talked about, we were shooting like 12 p.m. under the sun. ND filters helped a lot. The fee mounts, this is the battery that the Blackmagic came with. I don't know the brand. Oh, this is not the one. This is like this is a different brand, but usually they come with NPF 550s. They last for like about an hour, depending on how you're shooting. Last time I went up the mountain with my girlfriend, I only used one battery. I wasn't continuously shooting. I was shooting like a couple of times and I turned the camera off, and at one point I put the camera in my bag because the hike was just getting harder and harder, so I just put the camera away. That one time, one battery was totally enough for me. Oh shit. Light turn on, turn off on me. Anyways, depending on how you're shooting and what project you're shooting, that one battery was enough for me on the hike. But 2 free mounts were not enough for me for the last project that I was doing. So I had to charge my other free mount where I was using the other one. And then at the end of the day, I kind of need like 3 free mounts. Like the free mount that I have, this one is a CG Cine, and I have another one called City York. They're both 95 and 99. I was thinking about getting a 200 one, but I can't fly with those. So it's either I buy one 200 watt or I can get to the 90s. The base plate that I have on this thing, it's from Small Rig. I have that attached to 2 15mm rods, and I have that attached to another Small Rig plate for the V mount, and I have the V mount there on the Small Rig V mount adapter. So yeah, and this is it's a very traditional, not traditional, it's an ordinary Small Rig tripod. It has 2 faces. It's not like the Free Blazer one. Kind of don't need it yet, but this is still fine for what I'm doing right now. That's my main camera. It's annoying to use sometimes, yes. Do I regret having it? No, it's really fun to shoot, at least for how I'm shooting. I've been watching a lot of Luke Forsyth and also Danny Gevertz, the way they're shooting their documentaries, and I try to apply their techniques into how I shoot, and thus far it's still fine. I'm not, I'm not complaining. Could it be better? Yes. Autofocus would help a lot, but that's why I have these rails, and that's why I got the LiDAR Pros. But again, I don't want to complain. I chose to take this camera. I'm not regretting my decision. It was totally worth it. 12-bit, honestly, it's different. The camera I'm shooting right now is a Lumix S5 Mark I. It has 10-bit color, if I'm not mistaken. It's very different. I just love the flexibility. That's basically it that I want to talk about the camera that I have, the Blackmagic. There are other rigs that I would put this on depending on the project. Like I said, I can put it on the DJI RS4. I can strip it down completely to be a lot more flexible for travel shoots that I'm trying to do more. I'm thinking about showing you guys the other rigs that I have for this camera. Maybe in future videos, I'll be showing you guys the other setups that I have for this camera. Yeah, I hope you learned a little bit something today about the Blackmagic and if it's the right camera for you. This camera, honestly, when I got it, it was like almost 3 years old. So it's now a 5-year-old. I think it's a 5-year-old camera, and it's still worth it, honestly. Even when I was using the Sony a6000 at the time, it was like a 10-year-old camera, and technology-wise, it's way behind. But it did what I needed to do, and it delivered. It was quite enough for me for the time, and this one is more than enough for me for what I'm doing right now. Do I wish I have other cameras? Yes. Do I want to change? Not at the moment. I don't think so. Yeah. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.